everyone. Natalie Norrie and Steve Metcalf back again for another episode of 5 Minute Major. Big news that's developed in college hockey this past week is the addition of the Committee for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. 27 wonderful members on the board, including 7 representatives from Hockey East, including yourself, Steve, and Kate McAfee. Talk a little bit about what the initiative is and how you plan on raising the awareness needed to address the subject.
Hi, Natalie. Great to see you again. Yes, big announcement last week for college hockey. And I guess I'll just go back to last summer when we first got together and we started talking about the subject. You know, as along with the rest of the country, many of us in college hockey and certainly in Hockey East were, really saddened by some of the tragic events that were occurring across the country, and that started a conversation between. We certainly were having conversations within Hockey East, but then, I started to have conversations with other commissioners in other leagues and talking about, could we do something more broadly to raise awareness and educate folks on some of these issues. And I found some great allies with some of the other commissioners in the other conferences. And so we had a group that we put together that was Jen Flowers from the WCHA, Mike Sneed from College Hockey Inc., Josh Fenton from the NCHC, and Kate McAfee and myself from Hockey East, and quickly decided that we needed representation from across college hockey. So we reached out to the commissioners and the ADs and the coaches, and then we just put together the rest of the committee, which has representatives from all of the men's and women's college hockey conferences. And then we started meeting more regularly, once every other week, generally throughout the fall and into the winter. And trying to just, establish a mission and a vision and, articulate why we got together. We put a website together, which we unveiled last week. And, really now we've announced we've announced the group, and now we can get to the work of trying to impact some change throughout college hockey. It's a really great group. And, the leadership group that I mentioned have really invested a lot of time into this and, really committed to making a change.
Right. I was going to ask about that. Every conference in Division I college hockey is included in this by at least one representative. So how exactly were the members selected or able to join to be a part of the movement after you did your networking and reaching out?
Yeah, we asked all the conferences for a student athlete representative and an AD or a coach. And so, we were asking every men's conference, every women's conference. And so we were asking basically Hockey East for 4 people, and we ended up having 5 great people. So we just didn't want to say no. And so the folks from Hockey East are Jeff Conyer, the AD from Northeastern, Alfie Michaud, the assistant coach up at Maine, a men's hockey program, and then 3 student athletes, Nikki Harnett from UNH, Jacques Boquet, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, from UVM, and Marshall Warren from Boston College.
Oh, that's great. That's great that you had so many people willing to join. And it's going to be great to see how the initiative progresses. I guess kind of bringing you up to speed with what's going on in Hockey East now this week. I know that the women's side is nearing the end of their regular season, but what is new from your standpoint?
Well, you're right. So we've steadily progressing. I think the intensity, as you can feel it, ratcheting up a little bit as teams get towards the end of the season and start looking towards the postseason where they're going to be seeded. But as you mentioned, the women's season, regular season, ends this coming weekend. Most of our teams will play 2 games. A couple of teams will play 1 game, and then our playoffs start for 4 teams on the 24th. So it'll be the opening round, and then the following Sunday, that'll be the quarterfinals. Then the following Wednesday will be the semifinals, and then we'll go into the championship on Saturday. So, very close to the end of the regular season, and obviously the playoffs is the best time of year in any sport, and our women's hockey teams will start experiencing that next week.
Yeah, and it's great that Hockey East has been able to make it to this point. And as you
Yeah.
mentioned, playoffs are always the best time of year. And we've got time for one more question. But obviously, it's a disappointing time for these teams to not be able to play in front of the postseason crowd that they're used to. But in your personal experience, based on the environment, what is your favorite college hockey rink in Hockey East to watch games?
So I've been going to some games at Boston University, and they're playing in Walter Brown, their old arena. And just last weekend, I was thinking about going to games there, back in the day when that little barn was packed to capacity, and what a great environment. But I do have to say, and this is funny coming from a UNH alum, Alphont Arena is a really, really wild place to watch a game. And University of Maine today actually announced a bunch of facility renovations that they have going in the future. I've been to many a game there, and when that place is rocking, that is a really, really tough place for anyone to go play. And a very, very passionate fan base up at there at the University of Maine.
All right. Well, that does it for our time today, Steve. Thank you so much for the insight and for giving us an inside look as to the new committee that's coming in college hockey. We're excited to see where that's able to go. But thank you again, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, Emily. Take care.